Welcome back to my channel. Guys, I just want to start it off by saying a massive thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for all my subscribers and people checking out my videos. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I think on the last video I talked about it would be nice for this channel to hit 200 in the recent days in subscribers, and today I check it out. You know what, to my surprise, we hit 220. Again, we don't know where the channel is going to take us. Maybe it will take us to 500 soon. Maybe it will take us over 1,000. But what we do know is our exchange of ideas, our passion for this hobby, that's going to stay. That's going to stay between us. And we're going to have a lot of fun. So thank you very much. Now, with that out of the way, let's jump into today's topic. Let's continue with the theme of the bracelet on some of the iconic Seiko Perspex turtles summarized. And today we're going to talk about another bracelet right here, which is the 22mm straight end link beads of rice bracelets from Uncle Seiko. I think those three bracelets here represent extraordinary value and extraordinary design from Uncle Seiko. Again, I'm just going to touch on those two briefly, as those two being done in detail videos already. This one here is the super version of the Z199 with the solid end link as well as the male clasp. This one fits a turtle like a dream. A vintage style, extraordinary construction, very solid feeling, extremely clean, reflects like nothing before. Really fits this turtle, black turtle, extremely well. So I've done that video already. I highly recommend it. The second one that we've done is this beautiful samurai here. Actually, someone commented this is the most beautiful Seiko samurai that I've ever seen on the internet. You know what? I'm so proud to have this piece in my collection. I feel myself reaching out this piece very often, every time when I look at it. This bracelet is the razor wire 22mm, of course, with a hollow end link, with the very solid clasp. Extremely well done. From a design perspective, from construction perspective, it just match up this case design 100% like a dream. Guys, highly recommend it. And today we're gonna move on to this one here, which is the beads. If you guys familiar with all different styles of bracelet, I think the design speaks for itself. We call this the beads of rice. Again, this is from Uncle Seiko, from Larry. Actually, this was the first bracelet from Uncle Seiko. Now, straight away, as you can see, it fits sports model. Of course, this is the Arnie, the very well-known, the Arnie reissue, the SNJ025. I think this is going to be a future classic, especially if you look at the current lineup with the Arnie in its development. Now, in terms of the bracelet, I just want to touch on a couple of points first. First of all, the main differences are those two are with the custom end link to fit the samurai and the SRP turtle perfectly. This piece of rice is the straight end link with the 22mm fitment that you can fit with any of your sports watches. My highlights of this 22mm piece of rice bracelet is, if you are considering having sports watches in your Seiko collection, such as samurai or turtle, but you're not sure whether you're going to keep those watches forever in your collection, which means you probably want to flipping it one day to exchange for other watches to have your cash reinvested, then I would actually recommend buying the Z199 and the razor wire bracelet on the straight end link fashion, because then you can actually keep the bracelet for your other watches that has the 22mm lock. Now, the reason why I bought those two watches in these bracelets and in fashion is because I'm very confident I'm gonna have this black turtle forever. I'm pretty confident once I have this matched up for my beautiful samurai, I'm gonna have this forever. So I'm very happy to actually buy those two bracelets with the custom end link, because I know if one day I'm gonna flip those two watches, those bracelets is not going to retain its value too well. Of course, it's going to be an add-on benefit and option for the next buyer, but they're not going to represent a huge amount of value if you're considering you actually spend about $100 inclusive of shipping to get them to your door from Larry. So point number one is, if you have similar as in terms of turtle or samurai or even the monster that all shares 22mm locks with, you know what? Just buy the straight end link like this. It's going to fit them extremely well. It's going to fit them extremely well. And you know what? If you're going to flip that watches in the near future, you can actually keep the bracelet for your other timepieces. Okay, fantastic. So that's point number one done. Main differences. Differences number two is this piece of rice bracelet. If you look at the main differences of the watch here, this Arnie shares a very classic design of that shroud design. Of course, the original OEM that came with SNJ025. Black Arnie was actually a plastic shroud. The previous owner of this watch had extremely well tastefulness, and he actually upgraded the watch with the metal shroud. It just beef up the watch definitely to the next level. From a peeling side of things, it adds another layer of dynamics, and plus with this Reissue bracelet, it fits extremely well with the shroud. So if you have, for example, I'm talking about if you have one of those solar tuner that also shares 22 millimeters lock width. If you have any other watches that sharing the tuner design with the shroud, I'm really believing this Reissue is a perfect match, simply because how short the lug to lug width that you have on those watches. So when you have this 22 millimeter shrink link on it, it feels like it's got a custom end links on it, because there's no gap between the watch, especially between the upper side of the watch and the bracelet. It looks tremendous. From a bracelet design perspective, there's many Reissue bracelet on the market, especially when it comes to straight links. But I find in my experiences, the Uncle Seiko Reissue bracelets is the best, because the construction of the metal, of the stainless steel, it is extremely clean and well done. The side profile of these bracelets is polished, really match up with the lacquer that you have on Arnie, for example. Now, if you look from the top, the surface of the bracelet is actually brushed. It matches up with the case really well. If you look at my metal shroud, which is also brushed. On the central links of the Reissue bracelet is polished. It just adds another layer of dynamics when you look in it. When you look at the watch as a whole, it reflects light extremely well in your natural sunlight. That's actually why I'm choosing to continue doing all my videos here, because I really believe natural light conditions actually are the conditions that can bring the most beautiful, the most authentic way of your timepiece into our real life. So really well done in terms of construction. The design is flawless. Now, when it comes to size, of course, we know this is one starting from the 22 millimeters. I believe it tapers down to 20. So instead of tapering down more dramatically, such as the Z199, which tapers down from 22 all the way down to 16. And this is a common thing for Reissue bracelets as well, because most of the Reissue bracelets either don't taper at all, or they taper about 10%, which is from 22 to 20, or you have something like 20 to 18. That's the option I actually see on the market. Really beautiful clasp, double folded, really securely, actually secure the watch with the Uncle Seiko branded on the middle. Extremely well finished. If you look from the side profile, this bracelet is I've adjusted the link, of course, fitted my about 7 inches wrist. It's a perfect match. If you look from the side perspective, you can tell the length of that clasp section match up really well with the shape, about the lock width about 20, about 46 to 48. So you're gonna have a really balanced experience of your wearing experiences, especially with something like this, like an Arnie on the wrist. Just give you the wrist shot when you have the Uncle Ray with the Reissue Uncle Seiko. Just to give you guys this is what it looks like. It looks extremely sharp, really solid. Just give your wrist roll. You see that transition from the side of the bracelet, which is brushed, towards the middle, how that reflects light in the middle in the poly section, and all the way to the metal sheeting of the Arnie. It looks extremely well done. I think it suits this watch really well. So maybe if you have an Arnie, maybe the black version, of course, there are many other color variants. If you have the budget for additional, maybe $100 to get a really good quality metal shroud, get this Uncle Seiko piece of rice bread. Sorry, my next door literally just started cleaning his garden. I'm gonna finishing up here, guys. Okay, so the conclusion of today's video is Uncle Seiko makes some traditionally vintage-inspired bracelet that just speaks volume, especially for the Seiko models that we have here. Some of iconic divers. Those bracelets is gonna add another layer of dynamics. It's gonna give you watch a new layer of life. You're gonna look at your watch differently, and most importantly, if you have a large watch rotation, or if you have some more expenses watching your watch boxes that you're getting tired of picking those up, I can guarantee if you buy those bracelets, put them on your watches, it's gonna change the way you look at those iconic divers forever. So guys, okay, hopefully today's video provided some clarity and some comparison between those models and maybe between those different style of bracelets, I think it's going to give you a really good opportunity to have a comparison just in between them directly, so you see which one is the best for your iconic Seikos. Okay, guys, so thank you very much for checking this video out again, and I cannot wait to see you in the next time. All the best, guys. I'll see you then. Bye bye.